Have you ever heard a chord progression so beautiful that it made you want to cry? Well, in today's lesson, I'm going to show you 5 chord progressions that have made me cry, and personally, I think these are 5 of the saddest chord progressions. Now, before we get started, I wanted to mention that right now we're offering the biggest special that we offer all year long over at pianowithjonny.com, up to 50% off the Piano with Jonny membership, and we're closing the doors on Monday. So to take advantage of that, click the link below, and why don't you grab yourself a box of tissue because we're going to be shedding some tears. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, the first chord progression is what I call the Evanescence chord progression, and it goes like this. Isn't that gorgeous? By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. This is used on Evanescence's classic tune, My Immortal. And what I love about this chord progression is that it's so simple to play. Basically, I'm just playing a C major to an E minor, okay? But what really makes this chord progression sound so good is the technique that I'm using to play these chords, which I call interval rocking. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the chord like C, and I'm just rocking the notes from the chord, C and G, E and G, and then E and C, okay? And then I take an E minor chord like this, and I rock the notes. So I've got E and B, B and G, and then G and E. Okay? And it has such a gorgeous sound, and this is something that I would encourage you to use on your chord progressions. In fact, on this progression, you could, pick any position you want. You could start on the C, like here. Isn't that cool? And then on the E, you could do it here. Isn't that cool? By the way, if you can think of any songs that use this chord progression, leave a comment below. I'd love to see what you come up with. All right, sad chord progression number 2 is what I call the John Williams chord progression, and it sounds like this. Isn't that gorgeous? This chord progression is used in the Princess Leia theme in Star Wars, and it has such an incredible sound, and once again, the chords are actually so simple to play. So basically what I'm doing is I'm starting on a C major chord, and then the magical sounding chord that makes this chord progression so incredible is this one. Check it out. We're gonna play an F minor 6 over the C. Isn't that gorgeous? And what makes it sound especially beautiful is when it resolves back to the C, okay? Now, you could play the chord progression simply the way I'm playing it currently in root position, but I think a more beautiful way to play it is to put a little melody on the top. And then land on your F minor 6, and I'm sort of spreading the notes out on the chord here, okay? So it's an F minor 6, but I've got the C on the bottom, A flat, D, F, and C, okay? And then you could finish it, da, da, dum, and then come down here and play your F minor 6 there. Once again, let me know in the comments if you can think of any other songs that use this chord progression. All right, chord progression number 3 is what I call the sentimental chord progression, and it sounds like this. Isn't that beautiful? This chord progression is used in tunes like Stairway to Heaven and tons of other tunes. And what I love about this chord progression is, once again, it is so simple to play. Basically, I'm in the key of C minor, and then what I'm doing is I'm doing this little walk down, C to B, and I play like a G chord. That's it, okay? And then I play a C chord again in the right hand, and I drop it down to a B flat in the left hand. And then finally, we're gonna drop it down to an A in the left hand, and we have what's called an A minor 7 flat 5 chord, okay? Now, what makes this chord progression sound so beautiful is not necessarily the order of chords, but this descending line in our left hand. Check this out once more. And that descending motion in the bass line is kind of what gives it this sad sound. It's kind of dropping lower and lower and lower. And so this is something that you can do on your chord progressions if you want them to sound sad, is don't just play your chords like this, right? Drop the bass, especially chromatically. You can continue. You can go to an A flat, right, F minor, to G7. All right, I know you can think of other songs that use this chord progression, so I want to do a little competition, and I want to see who can come up with the most songs that use this chord progression. Let me know in the comments. By the way, if you want to learn more about the sentimental chord progression, we have the beginner to intermediate level course and the intermediate to advanced level course, where you'll learn 12 different approaches to accompanying with this chord progression, plus how to improvise over this chord progression. So I'll put a link to those below. All right, sad progression number 4 is what I call the love progression, and it goes like this. Isn't that beautiful? By the way, I wanted to mention that the lesson sheet music that you're seeing on the top left of your screen is downloadable and printable. You can also change the key of this entire lesson with the click of one button with our smart sheet music. So I'll put a link to all of that below. This chord progression is used on many love songs like Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And once again, it is such a simple chord progression to play. So what we're doing is we're starting on a C major and we're doing another walk down. So we go to a B in the left hand, a G major chord in the right hand, okay? Then like an A minor chord, very simple. Then for this chord, there's different ways you can play it. You could do it as a C over G, or oftentimes I'll play like an E minor over G. Both are beautiful. Then like an F major, simple. Then we have a C major over E, again, pretty simple. And then a D minor, very simple chord. And then our G is our last chord, okay? Now this is a very basic way of playing these chords, but the way I played it earlier is a more interesting way to play it. So I want to show you some really cool tricks you can use with this chord progression. Basically, you're going to want to start nice and high and put a D in there, okay? This is called the add 2. It's like a C major chord, but you add the 2 to the chord, and it gives it a very beautiful kind of warm sound. Isn't that beautiful? Then on the G chord, check this out. Isn't that gorgeous? Where did that C come from? Well, this is actually called a G major with an add 4, okay? So it's a beautiful way to play this chord progression. Get that little cluster there in the bottom. Isn't that gorgeous? A minor, that's pretty normal. And then check this one out. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, this is actually not a standard C major chord over G that I taught you earlier. It's actually called a C major 7 chord, and this is the actual chord that this comes from, okay? So we're just spreading the notes out. It's gorgeous, okay? F major. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Again, we're just adding the G to the chord, so we call this an F major with an add 2. It's a lot like what we did on the C chord. This is one of my favorite chords here. What is this chord? Check that out. Well, guess what? It is a C major 7, okay? So this is a great little trick. Whenever you're playing like a C chord, don't just play a C major, play a C major 7. That's so pretty. And that's essentially what's happening here. You're getting that beautiful little cluster there, okay? And then finally we have, right, this is called the D minor 7. It's that, but we're spreading the notes out. Little melody here, and then it's a G sus4. So we're just suspending the chord and then resolving it. By the way, if you want to learn more about the love progression, you can in our course. You'll learn 6 different accompaniment techniques, plus how to improvise over this chord progression, so I'll put a link to that below. Now, I know that some of you watching are thinking, okay, Johnny, those are some pretty sad chord progressions, but what about that sad chord progression that's used in tons of popular tunes? I'm talking about Hello by Adele, or The Scientist by Coldplay, or Say Something by A Great Big World. And this chord progression actually has a name. It's called the Axis of Awesome chord progression, and it goes like this. Isn't that gorgeous? And once again, it is a very simple chord progression. It has only 4 chords. So the basic chords are A minor, F major, C major, and G major. Okay? You can kind of think of this as a 6-4-1-5 chord progression in the key of C, right? So C major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord. But it's not particularly beautiful just to play the chords like this. I think a much prettier way and a much sadder way to play the chords is to bring it up the piano and to add some really beautiful notes to the chords. So here's what I'm doing. I'm basically playing my A minor chord up high, right? Pretty standard. But on the F chord, I play it like this. Isn't that that gorgeous? This is not a standard F major chord. I'm actually adding two beautiful notes to this chord, the E and the G. We call this the 7th of the chord, and this is the 9th of the chord, okay? And then we're kind of spreading the notes out to get this beautiful sounding chord on the F, okay? Then we have a little melody note, D. Next chord is a C chord. We're gonna play this standard at first, but then we're gonna grab this beautiful set of notes, D and G, and once again, it's like a C major, but I'm doing the add to the D to make it sound a little warmer. And the final chord is my favorite chord, check it out. Isn't that gorgeous? Love, love the sound of this chord. It's basically like a G major chord, but I'm adding the 4 into it to get this little cluster on the chord, and then I'm spreading the chord out like that. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.